Hey y'all, I want to welcome you to a new episode of Crown and Convos, where every jewel you receive here gets you one step closer to receiving your crown from God. Now, y'all, these jewels are not intended for you to just take, wrap them up in a box, and save for next holiday. But what you want to do is take them back to God and start your own conversation with Him, where He will provide you with insight, instruction, and increase. I'm your host, Aaliyah, and I'm so happy you're joining me today. So, for starters, y'all, I know y'all hear it. I am a mess right now. Congested, still got a runny nose, my voice going in and out. Prayerfully, none of that interferes too badly with the message that I want to share with y'all today. So, I'm still studying on the new segment that I want to put out about when your life is stagnant. So, like when you're not seeing any changes in your life. But just over some recent things that I've been experiencing, God made it very clear that He did want me to go ahead and send out this encouraging message instead of waiting until I'm done studying for that one and He gives me the word for that one, to still put this one out because somebody needs to hear it. So hopefully, whoever you are, this message finds you well, and it's just something that opens up a new conversation between you and God, and you asking Him for instruction moving forward, right? So, the message that He gave me for today is just to pace yourself. You are moving, changes are being made, but you have to slow down so you can see them, right? He says, pace yourself. You are moving, changes are being made, but you have to slow down so you can see them. The example that He gave me for this was my skincare routine, right? So, I have black spots. I have hyperpigmentation from old acne and stuff like that. And it has been a journey getting rid of them. There was one point where I actually did clear my skin up pretty well. And then I don't know what happened, but it went back down, right? So I started this new skincare line, and I used it for a little while just to see if it'll start working, and it didn't start working. Like, it never worked. My skin didn't change. So by early April, end of March, early April, I went back to what I know, which is CeraVe. CeraVe is the skin cleansing product that I use. They have two facial washes that I use. I use like two of their serums. I use their night care moisturizer and stuff like that. So that works for me. That has been what's cleared my skin up. So probably after a couple weeks after I switched, I got a little impatient because I'm like, I miss having my clear skin. So I was like, maybe I need to go buy some other stuff and look at some other stuff. And I remember at that time God telling me, no, just wait. A couple days later, I actually saw changes in my skin. And I have a picture that I took of myself when I was out. It was either March 26th or March 29th. If I remember, I will insert it. But that's a picture that I took at the end of March before I went back to CeraVe. So that is when I was still using the old facial cleansing stuff that I don't use anymore. And then I have some pictures that I recently took, like April 9th, April 10th, or April 11th, around that time. And you could see the changes in my skin. Right? This whole time I'm thinking I might need to add something else, or I might need to do something else. And it's right there. But because I'm looking for my skin to be like 100% clear right now, I'm not even noticing that these spots are actually clearing up. Right? So I have to stop being such in a rush to get to the completed results or the desired result, but to notice within the journey that these changes are being made. These things are being done. Maybe not at the pace I want them to be, maybe not in the way that I want them to be, but the changes are being made. And I could also apply that in many other areas of my life. Changes are being made. Might not be up to my satisfaction, but it's in the way that God has directed it. It's in the way that He has designed for this journey to look like for me, right? And if I'm still in a rush to get to that final result, then I am going to miss everything. I'm going to miss all of this. I'm going to miss all the middle part. So he has been encouraging me to just slow down and to just take note of the changes that are actually happening. Like, okay, you want more. There's nothing wrong with wanting more. And let me just clear that up. There's nothing wrong with wanting more. There's nothing wrong with wanting to reach your final result. That's how God has designed it. He wants you to want what he told you he was going to give you. He told you he was going to give you a new job. He wants you to want that. He told you he was going to give you a new business. He wants you to want that. He told you he was going to give you a marriage and a house and a family and the kids. He wants you to want those things. But he doesn't want you to want it so much so that you are, I don't want to say ungrateful, but ungrateful of the little things that are happening that will get you there. Think about when you're in the kitchen and you're cooking. You got your ingredients. You don't have the final thing yet because you have to put everything together. You have to mix this stuff together. You have to cut this stuff up in order for you to get to your final dish. If you mess up anything in this right here, your ingredients, you're not going to get that final result that you want. You're going to get something, but it's not going to be what you want. Right? So just slow down and pace yourself and learn to be happy and content with your journey. And I'm gonna be honest, y'all, this is a lesson that I've had to learn, that I probably have just learned just recently. I have never been able to be content with where I am because I know where I'm supposed to be at. If you tell me I'm supposed to be a director, no, I'm not happy being a cashier. That's not what you told me. You told me I'm going to be a director. You have raised my hopes and raised my faith and have had me to trust you in making me a director. So that's what I'm looking for. No, I don't want to be a cashier. Why would I be a cashier? But what I'm going through now, what I'm dealing with now, what I'm handling now is only going to get me to that role. It's only going to get me to that place. Not only do you need to slow down and pace yourself because the changes are being made, but also take note that a lot of the changes that we seek or we're looking for in our situations, they're not actually external changes. They're actually internal changes within ourselves. So, recently I was talking to my best friend and I was just acknowledging him in his role in my life, right? My best friend has been the person that God has used to show me unconditional love. So he has been the first person that I have experienced unconditional and genuine love from. He is the first person to show me that. We've never messed around. We've never been exchanging money or anything like that. So I could say our love is genuine. I could say that our love did not come from me having to give him something or him having to give me something. We love each other because we went through the process and we chose to love each other, right? Well, after I acknowledged that, sometime later within the same day, I was listening to the song Teach Me How to Love by Musiq Soulchild, and I realized not only was he the first person to show me unconditional love, but he also was the person who taught me how to love people unconditionally. I did not know how to love people unconditionally before I met him. My family, our love was very conditional. I love you as long as you wasn't getting on my nerves. I love you as long as you respected me. I loved you as long as you did what I asked you to do. When you ain't do none of that, I don't want to do with you. That's just how I grew up. That's how my family grew up. So that was a generational curse that I broke. Right? Because I've learned how to give unconditional love. I had to learn how to be accepting of things that I'm not necessarily proud of or I'm not necessarily approving of, but I accept you. I accept you as a person. I love you as a person. Despite those qualities within you that I may not like, I love you and I accept you and I'm going to be there for you and I'm going to give you grace. And I'm going to forgive you when you hurt me or when you wrong me. And I'm going to work hard to ensure that I don't hurt you. Right? I have that type of consideration in how I deal with people now. But I didn't have that before. But my best friend taught me that. He taught me that I can love somebody without getting something from them. That I can love them even when they do the opposite of what I want or what I like. I don't like that you wore that green shirt today, but I could still love you. I don't have to dislike you because of that. I didn't like how you talked to me just now, but I don't have to not love you because of that. He's the person who taught me that. God used him to teach me that. And so I had to tell him that as well. And it hit me so hard that day because I see women, I know women who are looking for that love from somebody, who are looking to give that type of love to somebody. And they are going through the craziest type of circumstances. They're going through hurt and pain and struggling and suffering to have that type of love. So it had me kind of sad because I'm like, it made me happy that I got to experience that. But it also made me kind of sad because everybody is worthy of that kind of love. Everybody is worthy of giving love to a person or receiving love from a person without having to give anything out. Everybody is deserving of genuine, unconditional love. And I'm happy I got to experience that. And not only that, but I fought my best friend so hard on him giving me love and me giving him love back because I thought the type of love that I was giving and receiving, I thought that had to come from a romantic interest. So if I'm having a man who want to be in my son's life, or I'm having a man who is giving me the space to grow and be the woman that I need to be, and is assisting me and helping me and guiding me, I'm thinking that's supposed to come from my man. So my best friend trying to step into that role without trying to step into that role, I fought it. I don't want to love you. I'm trying to love my man like that. I don't want to receive that love from you. I want to receive it from my man. And there are many times where I missed the mark with receiving and giving that unconditional love because I thought it was supposed to look a certain type of way. Whole time, God had me to write a letter to my husband in December of 2020. My best friend is everything that I prayed for in that letter. And I'm not saying that to say that he's my husband, but I'm saying that to say I got all of that. But I almost missed receiving it because I'm thinking it's supposed to come from something else or a certain title or something like that. Like I'm missing it coming from him. I wanted somebody who prays with me, who prays over me. I wanted somebody who doesn't hold anger towards me, who forgives me, who teaches me patience. I wanted somebody who loved my son, who wanted to be a part of my son's life. My best friend is all of that. But I fought loving him so hard, and I fought receiving his love so hard, because it didn't come from a husband, because I wasn't loving my husband. All right, so, and it just hit me that over the weekend, y'all. It just hit me this past Friday. It just hit me this past Friday that I am experiencing someone who loves me unconditionally, that I am also experiencing myself loving someone unconditionally, and I'm not married yet, and I feel blessed that I did not have to wait until I was in a relationship to understand this, because the fight that he and I have had for the last couple of years, imagine me getting married and taking that fight into a marriage because I didn't know how to do it. I hadn't learned how to do it yet. It would be a fight. And thank God my best friend is God led in my life, God placed in my life, because God has graced him to deal with the things that he has dealt with me. No regular man could deal with this stuff, y'all. No regular woman could deal with the stuff with him. Because God has positioned us to be in each other's lives, he has graced us to deal with certain things and certain aspects that we needed to grow out of, that we needed to learn, that we needed wisdom for. But you have to be willing to slow down and look at it in a different way. Allow God to give you new eyes to see things with, to see your situation with. Like I said in the last one, your frustration do not move God. You mad that you in this situation? You mad that changes ain't being made? He do not care about that. He doesn't. Because there's something that he's trying to do in this situation. You are in this spot for a reason. You're going to get here. He wants you at point Z. But baby, you're still at point A for a reason. To stop being in a rush to get to the final destination and seek God and ask him, what is he trying to show you while you are here? Lord, you promised me this, so I know it has to be done, because you're not a man that you will lie. You wouldn't make this promise to me if this wasn't real. So I'm not at Z yet. I'm still at A. What are you trying to show me? What do I need to do? Where do I need to be? Where does my heart need to be? Right? Because a lot of the time it's our heart that's not in the right place. And you can try to manipulate and maneuver your heart to fit what you think God wants it to be. Anyways, God knows our heart even when we don't. So you can't fake it. You can't fake the fuck with him. Fake it till you make it. You can't fake it with him. God knows when your heart is genuine. God knows when you really feeling what he wanted you to feel. He knows that Friday, when it hit me so hard that I wanted to cry. I'm like, Lord, is this what you've been trying to get me to understand this whole time? You wanted me to love unconditionally. I didn't have to have a man to love him unconditionally. I didn't have to have a man to love me unconditionally, to be loved unconditionally. I could have that. I don't have to be married to have a man love my son. I ain't got no ring yet, because it's coming. I don't have no ring. But I didn't have to wait until this final thing, because God made me this promise of a husband. I didn't have to wait till I had him to experience these things. So the point is, pace yourself, because the changes are being made. You are moving. You're not in the same spot. And you know how you can test whether you're in the same spot or not? Not only when you feel differently, when that thought hits you differently, but when you move differently. What about when you're breaking cycles? See, let me tell you how the enemy, the devil's smart, but he dumb at the same time, right? Because he don't have no new strategy when he come at you. He come at you using the same things that always bother you. Your relationship with your boyfriend, that's when all hell is breaking loose. The devil gonna keep coming at you in that same, it's gonna be your man do something to you every time. You got a job where people get on your nerves, where the job gets on your nerves, where how they move gets on your nerves. Yep, the enemy gonna use that every single time. Your kids get to acting out of pocket. He gonna use it every time. Let me tell you how the enemy tests me. He tests me by messing with my sleeping schedule. He tests me by messing with my son, whether he gets to acting out or whether he gets sick, or he gets me by testing me with my relationship with my best friend. Them the only 4 ways that he gonna get to me. He can't get to me through anybody else or nothing else. I don't want to say because I don't care, but I'm gonna say these are the things that God has blessed me with. So he gonna always come after God's blessings. My job, baby, let them make me mad. I'm gonna log off the computer so fast. My family, I live in my house by myself. I'm gonna go into my house because y'all tripping over here. I'm gonna go on and get up off this phone because I don't like your tone. So, I don't, none of that, they can get to me. But my son, my best friend, my sleep, my health, that's where I'm easily affected by the enemy. So, recently I've been experiencing issues with sleeping where if I'm not taking medicine, I can't sleep. Then my son got sick. Then I got sick. Enemy couldn't come at me in no other way. All of a sudden, he starts to try through my best friend. Except for he's not doing it, like, it's not my best friend doing anything or saying anything, but the enemy is wanting me to read his messages wrong. Receive a message wrong and get an attitude. So yesterday, I read his message wrong and I had attitude at first. And God was in my ear. It's not like that. Don't look at it like that. Change how you seeing it. I was mad. So then he said, go see the verse of the day. Now, I have a notification with the verse of the day pops up on my phone at 6:06 every morning. But it wasn't there. So I actually had to open the app to see It was Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. For we fight not against the flesh and blood, but the principalities, right? So it's not him that I'm fighting against. It's not anything in that. It's the enemy who's trying to take hold of my mind. Not to mention, Sunday's message from my pastor that I watch online was intentional thought, where the enemy will try to take off with your thoughts. He will try to take your promise by going after your thoughts. He can't take the promise because he can't take what he didn't give, but he can take your mind off of it. He could take your focus off of it. He could take your faith off of it. So guess what I did? When I realized what was happening, I prayed. And I sent my best friend a message because in earlier days, I would have just started ignoring him. Or I would have just been mad at him. And I let him know everything, how I was finna take the message wrong. And I let him know, like, that's not, the fight is different now. Because we know each other now. We know how each other moves now. The fight is not the same. It's never us that we're fighting. We're never fighting each other. We're now fighting the enemy. Right? So my fight is different. That's how you know when the changes are being made, when you fight differently. When you are hit with temptation, because guess what, y'all, these things of the world still exist. The temptations, the things that the enemy wants us to be mad about, or all the things that you had, all the things that's going on, all the things that you have had to fight before, they still exist. But your fight is different now. Say the enemy wanted to tempt me with calling a certain person or talking to a certain person. I don't have this issue, y'all, because I don't even want to talk to nobody. So I had to find another example. I don't have an example. My fight is different. I refuse to let the enemy trick me up out of my spot. My spot, my inheritance, what God has given me. You can't take me up out of my spot no more. You can't distract me from the path that I'm on. I'm the closest to my promise I have ever been. I feel that. And I see the little changes that's being made. So you can't trick me up out of my spot. And he mad about that. He mad about them little changes. So let this just sit with y'all. And again, seek God and ask him, like, how does this apply to me? And what is it that I can learn from this message? But what he is saying is, pace yourself. You are moving. Changes are being made, but you have to slow down so you can see them. Also, all changes are not external. Some are internal. So just in your season, whatever the season is for you, just focus on yourself. Focus on God. Allow God to lead you to where he wants you to be at. And be at peace in this journey. Yes, it gets hard when you realize it's been 3 years and still nothing yet. But look at how far you have come. One of the promises God has given me was marriage. So I know I'm going to be married. Now, God spoke this promise to me October 5th, 2021. Still no ring. Still no man. I don't have a man. But I know it's coming. And guess what? I have learned to enjoy my single season. I'm learning to enjoy my single season. I'm learning to look back at my growth and say, you know what? 5 months ago, it's probably a good thing I wasn't married because I wouldn't handle that right. 2 years ago, oh yeah, we would be divorced by now. Yeah. My slick mouth, my inability to submit, my inability to show grace to an imperfect person, my inability to accept somebody else's flaws and faults when I want them to accept mine. Oh yeah, I would be divorced by now, right? I'm woman enough to say that my growth, it had to happen. And in the way that I handle things now, in the way I begin to pray when the enemy is tempting me. Yeah, I'm praying about when I be tempted. I'm rebuking. As soon as the enemy brings something up in my mind, I immediately rebuke it and go on about my day. 2 months ago, I couldn't do that. 2 months ago, I might submit to my temptation, whatever that was. Whether it was just the temptation to have an attitude with somebody, whether if it was the temptation to just not read my Bible, whatever it was, I may have submitted to it. But I rebuke him soon as he come in my mind now. I rebuke him soon as he got something to say. You know, so take note of the changes that are being made, y'all. They not little and they not for nothing. Everything that is happening right now is going to get you to that final goal if you do it within God's time. Allow God. His time is perfect. Allow God to lead you where he's trying to lead you. And take note for your own help. Isn't that good to see when you're dealing with something? Oh, dang, I would have handled this a whole other way 3 years ago. 3 weeks ago, I would have reacted a different type of way. 2 days ago, I might would have cussed you out, but I didn't. Thank God for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool to acknowledge those type of things, but you can't acknowledge those things when you're so focused on getting to that big thing. You're so focused on getting to that final. So yeah, y'all, just pace yourself. Pace yourself because the changes are being made. God is moving. You are moving. And you are closer to your promise than you have ever been. If you are right now, if you are in God's presence and you are positioned where God wants you to be, you are the closest to your promise that you have ever been on this day. So take note of that and be happy about that. So y'all, I'm still studying on the next message. I'm kind of excited about it because I feel like God is going to have me share some really big news with you guys at that time. I'm not sure how he wants to do it yet. But until then, I hope this message really seeps into your heart. And I hope it really encourages y'all to just slow down and just breathe. And just be content with where you are. It's beautiful. Where we are is beautiful. No matter what it's looking like, it's a beautiful place. Be happy about that. So, I will see y'all in the next episode. Thank you again for tuning in with me on this one. Peace, love, and blessings to you all.